and get the first of our senior and specialist editors and senior reporters to open up their diary for us. First up, SABC News politics editor Mzwandile Mbeje, who is in studio with me. Good afternoon, Mzwai.
Very good afternoon to you.
It's good to be with you once again. Let's start with the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Its meeting, and the sense that I'm getting is that there's a plethora of issues on the table, ranging from the immediate organizational, domestic South African governance issues, but also broadly international. How's that shaping up, and what difference will it make in terms of how the ANC moves going forward?
Well, thank you, Tulas. Indeed, it's a very important meeting, this one. You'd recall that it's been postponed, I think, twice. So which does tell you that there are weighty issues that are being discussed. It's a 4-day meeting, looking at all sorts of areas that we have just touched on. But for me, Tulas, that indicates that this is indeed a serious NEC. Ordinarily, when there are NECs, so we get briefed quite regularly, perhaps 2 times or even 3 times a day, in terms of what are the deliberations, what are the issues. So not this time around. And then you ask yourself why. So we do get a sense that it's quite hectic inside there, because other than obviously tariffs that are affecting everyone, so they are also discussing about it, and then you've been speaking about them. There are other issues of domestic nature which are really, really, really hot. One of that issue is actually the issue of the GNU. There are people who would like the GNU completely reconfigured. And of course, there are those who would want to see the status quo. The question is, who has the upper hand? Remember, the NEC is the highest decision-making body of the ANC in between conferences. Yes, when they take a decision, it doesn't mean that the president will immediately implement those, but that would have been the mandate of the party he leads. So part of the reason why it's actually very difficult to come up with, to brief us on anything right now, other than to say the meeting is happening, it's weighty issues like those.
In fact, Mzwai, Mahlengi Pengumutsiri actually did try to give a briefing this afternoon. I was listening attentively, but to be quite honest, it felt as if she's so cautious that she's not even saying anything of substance, really, other than to say, wait, this is what we're discussing, but wait until the end of the briefing itself.
I think that's why Tuesday, Tulas, will be very key when they announce, communicate those outcomes. Remember, tomorrow it's still going on, so we expect the president perhaps to do a closing remark, but where we will get exactly some of the decisions that will be communicated by the Secretary General is on Tuesday. So it will be very interesting. Of course, there's the issue of the SACP as well. And the SACP is not holding back. They have made it clear to say, you shall not tell us what to do. We may be allies, but we are an independent organization. So clearly that will have to be resolved in that NEC. In the past, Tulas, there would be this meeting when they were planning together either for elections or some strategies of sorts. So do you still plan together with those people? A decision has to be made, because we have seen they did contest a ward in Polokwane. Of course, they didn't do very well there. But they've taken the decision. They are going it alone.
And the SACP is turning 104 years old today. And you can expect that they will have a lot to say about how they see the trajectory going forward. So in all of that mix then, Mzwai, how much space remains in the NEC to grapple with issues such as the decisions that President Ramaphosa had to face up with regarding, for instance, Senzo Mchunu in the cabinet, regarding Nobuhle Nkabane, who were interestingly, they were seated together at the NEC meeting, and the ANC comms, being who they are, decided they knew exactly what they were doing when they published that picture. They knew it would draw reaction.
No, certainly. But of course, that is one of the other issues really that is being discussed, the commission and the issues that are coming out there. So the president has obviously, as head of state, decided what is it that he's going to do. In fact, as much as early as when Mkhwana spoke about those allegations, I think the ANC made it clear to say would leave it to the head of state to handle this. Of course, as the party, they will then reflect on it. So what is their approach? What is their attitude? I assume they would express support for it, because you can't contradict your own deployee. Otherwise, it will make you look, well, very disorganized. So that is one of the issues as well. And that is the issue that is also a hot potato within the NEC. So it's because, I mean, you have seen and you have heard that people are saying, at the moment, we may just be looking at these allegations and perhaps the individuals who are named now, but wait until the commission sits and it goes deeper. A lot more is coming. So we don't know who's going to be affected and who's not, but the fact of the matter is that something is coming.
Yeah, and interestingly, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner is due to engage with the National Council of Provinces in the coming days. So it sort of gives the signal of multiple processes at play. And I suppose at the end of it all, we might have a fuller picture.
Certainly.
Is there room, though, Mzwai, to have conversations then in the NEC about such issues as the allegations and questions that have been raised against the Deputy President of the party, Paul Mzwandile, in the wake of the declarations in Parliament that I've seen are causing some kind of a debate, some even starting to say he's being targeted. This has to do with concern and sort of anxiety in some quarters about a potential Mzwandile ANC presidency.
I think that's where the issue, Tulas, of the Integrity Commission comes in, because it's an ANC structure which is meant to deal exactly with some of those issues. So has it been given sufficient or enough teeth to deal with those? Because where members, I expect someone like Senzo Mkhunu, for example, to go and explain himself. I think same thing similar to the Deputy President. If they feel there's something they need explanation on, they can call him. And remember, the Integrity Commission then reports to the NEC. Those could be some of the issues. And then, of course, we are in a situation where we are not very far from the 2027 ANC presidential elections. I'm going to put it that way. So clearly people who are being seen as potentials, let me put it that way, so will be kind of like scrutinized. I mean, by virtue of him being the Deputy President, Paul Mzwandile, so is expected to be perhaps the front runner. But of course, not lost on, I guess, everyone else is that I think people know that there was something quiet. There's something quiet about Senzo Mkhunu as well. So perhaps as an alternative, maybe it's no coincidence that these two men at the moment are the center of attraction.
It's amazing how early these conversations actually start. Conversations that are not being heard officially, but actually they are happening. Thank you for that, Mzwai.
You're most welcome.
That's SABC News politics editor Mzwandile Mbeje.